Greetings and salutations, loyal viewers of this channel. My name is Sean, and today we gotta give you an update on the Daniel Penny case because there are some shenanigans afoot with the medical examiner's testimony, and I think it's important for you guys out there in the audience to know what was going down. Now, of course, my previous video, I went over updates and basically demonstrated how Daniel Penny is being targeted by the prosecution, in that the person who assisted with this totally unnecessary restraint, according to the prosecution, is not being charged and actually got an immunity deal, while Penny is facing second-degree manslaughter charges and criminally negligent homicide charges. But this is actually a bridge too far, in my opinion, because we have the medical examiner playing very fast and loose with the facts, and I think it's absolutely crucial for you to understand what's going down in that courtroom. Now, we're going to get into this, but before we do, I want to thank everybody who supports this channel via actualjusticewarrior.com/join.
Give me the money. Give me the money, okay?
It's a trial that touches the third rail of mental illness in the subway, and today jurors heard Daniel Penny in his own words, watching video as he demonstrated on a detective the chokehold that killed Jordan Neely.
So first things first, there is a ton of biased and nonsensical garbage news coverage of the Daniel Penny case that describes Daniel Penny putting an unarmed person experiencing mental distress in a deadly chokehold that ultimately ended up resulting in his death. But as we found out through the interrogation that Daniel Penny voluntarily submitted to before he even learned of the death of Jordan Neely, he was not even trying to knock this person out, let alone kill them. In fact, the hold that he tried to put on, although it looked like a sleeper hold, appeared to be around the collarbone in order to just restrain him to prevent him from attacking people, because he was threatening to kill people on the train.
And I kind of came like this.
Okay. Did you apply pressure, Daniel?
No, I wasn't. I just wanted to keep him from getting to people. Some guy came in. He's like, whipped his jacket off, and he's like, "I'm gonna kill everybody. I can go to prison forever. I don't care. I don't do this."
Now, I think that this holds a little bit more weight for Daniel Penny's case, because as he's being talked to by the police, he is being very cooperative. He's explaining to them exactly what went down in that situation. And even before he understands that Jordan Neely is dead and they're actually trying to build a criminal case against him, he is explaining how he was presenting himself as a deadly threat against other passengers, threatening to kill other passengers, and he was just trying to prevent them from doing that.
Some guy came in. He's like, whipped his jacket off, and he's like, "I'm gonna kill everybody. I can go to prison forever. I don't care. I don't do this." At that point, I looked at the person next to me like, "Hey, just hang on to this phone for me." I had my headphones in and took it off, and just kind of like grabbed him from behind because he came in just to because he was acting like a lunatic, like a crazy person.
Now, of course, I will contrast this with who Jordan Neely was, because despite the fact that he is portrayed as this innocent Baba Angel Aladdin experiencing some slight mental distress, a wonderful Michael Jackson impersonator that was ripped away from us by this evil white racist, in reality, Jordan Neely had 42 arrests. Many of them were for narcotics, but many of them were for assaults, kidnapping a child, his greatest Michael Jackson impersonation, by the way, and all these other different serious crimes.
No one on that train asked Jordan, "What's wrong? How can I help you?" He was choked to death instead. So for everybody saying, "I've been on the train and I've been afraid before, and I can't tell you what I would have done in that situation," I'm going to tell you. Ask how you can help. Please. Don't attack. Don't choke. Don't kill. Don't take someone's life. Don't take someone's loved one from them because they're in a bad place. No one on that train said, you started out by saying, "I'm hungry. I need food. I'm done with it. I don't know where to get food. I don't care if I die. I don't care if I go to jail. I'm just done." No one said, "Here you are, sir. Let me meet your need or help you in a situation or give a word of encouragement." That's not what happened on that train.
And look, while I understand that losing a relative can make you angry and all that, I find it kind of disgusting that the Neely family came out immediately after he died and talked about how much they loved and cared about this person, as they were letting him live in squander on the streets as a homeless person, due in large part to the fact that they didn't want to deal with Jordan Neely themselves. So we have all this different witness testimony. Almost everybody on the train talks about how they were afraid for their lives. They've been riding the train for decades, some them as long as 5 decades, and after Penny stepped up to help them, they thanked him for his service once again to the United States of America because Daniel Penny is a former Marine. Remember, we had this body cam footage from somebody who had been riding the train for 50 years explaining that she never felt more scared than when Jordan Neely was terrorizing them.
The whole train was freaked out. He was either gonna pull a gun, a knife, or said, I'm willing to die, I'm willing to die.
On cross-examination of the prosecution's witnesses, the defense played police-sworn body camera video of their statements to responding officers about what happened when 30-year-old Jordan Neely entered an F train on May 1st, 2023.
He's scared to live in daylight out there.
That witness told the jury she's been riding the subway for over 50 years and has been threatened before, but this was the first time she said she was actually scared. She described Neely as resisting when Marine veteran Daniel Penny put Neely in a chokehold to restrain him.
Not a hard chokehold, just enough to secure him, and the guy fought.
She testified she left to go to the conductor and then also pressed an intercom button in the station to see when police might arrive because it had been a while. She also said she went over to thank Penny after.
So let us be 100% clear. According to multiple witnesses, a man gets on the train. He starts screaming that he's going to kill people. He's terrorizing all these different people. Those are terroristic threats, by the way, saying that he's willing to go to jail. He's willing to go to prison. Everybody is standing idle except for Marine Corps trained Daniel Penny, who steps up in that situation and takes this guy down. And according to Daniel Penny's own testimony or own statements to the police, he wasn't even applying pressure to the neck, wasn't even trying to knock him out, wasn't trying to kill him or anything of the sort. This is absolutely crucial because the prosecution is making the case that maybe he could have held him in a chokehold. Maybe we'll accept that, although he is white, he is an evil white racist because he's white, but he did it for far too long, and that ultimately ended up causing his death, and he's a murderer and horrible racist. Let's prosecute him, because again, this whole case is built around entirely the image of Penny holding Neely when it's punched in so you can't see the other person, the Latino person, assisting in the takedown, because everybody on the train knew he was a threat, but because Penny stepped up and he was white, now it's a criminal issue for District Attorney Alvin Bragg, who's prosecuting him for political reasons.
Prosecutors called more than 30 witnesses to the stand. The last to testify is the doctor who performed the autopsy on Jordan Neely. We just got an update moments ago. Court is finished for the day, but the defense has not finished their cross-exam, so the medical examiner will return Monday for questioning. Today, jurors were shown photos from the autopsy, in particular of Jordan Neely's neck and eyes.
Dr. Cynthia Harris ruled Jordan Neely's cause of death compression of the neck or asphyxia. Prosecutors say Daniel Penny had Neely in a chokehold for nearly 6 minutes.
But to make matters even worse, we have the medical examiner testimony, and wouldn't you know it, the medical examiner, in my opinion, is talking nonsense, is lying, is being incredibly deceptive in order to destroy Daniel Penny. Let us play you some of the local news coverage of this testimony, because I think it's crucial for you to understand what the hell is going on.
In a voluntary police station house interview, Penny demonstrated.
And I kind of came like this.
Okay. Did you apply pressure, Daniel?
No, I just wanted to keep him from getting to people.
After Penny let go of Neely, several witnesses, including responding officers, testified Neely had a pulse. Dr. Harris says that's not surprising. This is an asphyxial death. The brain dies first. Neely had sickle cell trait. She testified it's normally benign, an asymptomatic condition, but his spleen and red blood cells were sickled. In her medical opinion, she testified, it was caused because he was in a low oxygen situation.
So the medical examiner's testimony, according to a lot of headlines, is considered to be damning for Daniel Penny. The death was caused by the chokehold. By the way, this doesn't even get into whether or not the chokehold was justified in this particular scenario, which I think the prosecution hasn't proved that it wasn't. And she's like, look, sure, he had this sickle cell trait and it's normally benign, but in this particular scenario, once evil white racism came, that sickle cell trait ended up activating. And she makes some definitive statements later on in this news segment that will be relayed to you, but as you can hear, she's saying compression and asphyxia, that is the cause of death. That is what she's saying. That is her medical opinion that she got from the autopsy.
A toxicology report revealed Neely had a synthetic cannabinoid, otherwise known as K2, in his system, but she told the jury no one can say how much because current testing does not quantify it. It only determines if it's present, since synthetic cannabinoids change like fashion trends.
Now, we also have a high amount of a synthetic cannabinoid known as K2. Now, I know marijuana isn't going to cause somebody to OD or anything like that, but it turns out out some of these synthetics are quite dangerous. This could have actually explained Jordan Neely's manic state, his reign of terror on that train, and the whole situation could have been down to the choices that he made, not to mention the fact that we have somebody who has serious mental illnesses that is high on drugs, locked in an aluminum can with a bunch of people, with families, with women, terrorizing them, and that, of course, could have led to the situation where Daniel Penny ended up taking him down. So needless to say, Jordan Neely was the author of his own peril.
On cross-examination, defense attorneys asked her about higher rates of toxicity and hospitalizations due to K2. She said it was 2 to 100 times more potent to standard natural occurring cannabinoids.
Now, she also, under cross-examination, admitted that the synthetic cannabinoids that Neely definitely had in his system at the time of his death could be 2 to 100 times more potent, stronger, if you will, than the regular standard marijuana. But what we find interesting is that apparently the current testing can't tell you the levels that he had in his system, just that they could be that much stronger, have that much more of an impact on his behavior. And considering all the different witnesses that have testified how erratic Neely was being, and considering the fact that all these different witnesses, none of them defended Neely in this particular situation, I think that was a major factor. But the big bombshell, the big drop that happened during cross-examination is this part right here.
They also noted after she performed the autopsy, Neely's death certificate originally said cause of death pending further study. Dr. Harris said that was due to a misunderstanding. A police report said Neely had been screaming, so she had questions. After viewing video of an unresponsive Neely, and though waiting for toxicology results, she made her ruling, doubling down, telling the jury that Neely could have had enough fentanyl in his system to knock down an elephant, and that still would not have changed her opinion.
Yeah, you guys heard that right. So this woman examines Jordan Neely. She is the medical examiner for Manhattan. She is the person charged with determining cause of death, and she ends up looking him over, doing all her scientific methods, running a tox screen. The tox screen isn't back yet, but because she can't find a cause of death for Jordan Neely, she actually doesn't have a diagnosis. She says results still pending. Presumably, she was going to wait on that tox screen before she knew it was a prominent case and make her ruling based on that. However, what ultimately ended up happening was Jordan Neely's case, because of the image of Daniel Penny holding him on the train, became a political firestorm. Then she ends up looking at the video, which I would assume you shouldn't be able to do as a medical examiner, and she says, not based on the body, not based on the science related to the case, but based on the video that she ended up seeing, which again, I can look at the video, you can look at the video. You would hope that the medical examiner would use her abilities as a medical examiner to determine cause of death. She says not only was this definitely compression of the neck and asphyxiation, but in addition to that, it didn't matter how much drugs he had in his system, because Daniel Penny, the evil white racist, definitely 100% killed Jordan Neely. How many times do we have to see this nonsense play out before we call it out? If you're a scientist and you're objectively assessing a body, and it's your job to be able to examine the body and tell us cause of death, then why are you using outside influence? Why are you using outside video that of course created a political firestorm to come to the ruling that your boss, the Manhattan District Attorney, wants you to come to? Absurd in every possible way, and I hope they absolutely shred her when they continue cross-examination on Monday.
Again, court is finished for the day, but they are not done with this witness. She will be questioned again on Monday. The defense will finish, and then the prosecution will rest, and then the defense will get a chance to present its case.
Look, for me, this case is pretty straightforward. Jordan Neely was acting erratically, he was threatening people, and Daniel Penny responded to the deadly force threat that Jordan Neely presented by trying to restrain him. As a potential complication of that restraint, Jordan Neely ultimately ended up dying, and that complication, by the way, probably has something to do with all the drugs that were in his system. Also, if you'll recall, because I mentioned this in the beginning of the video, if you'll recall, Daniel Penny did a police interrogation without realizing that Jordan Neely was dead, and this is because, according to the reports, Jordan Neely died 2 hours after this particular hold. The police did chest compressions, but they didn't do full CPR on him, and that is considered to be a mistake under normal normal circumstances by law enforcement where they're at fault, but in this particular case, they're trying to pin it on Daniel Penny because of the viral video, because of the attention, because of the political fervor of somebody who is white stopping a black criminal, because how dare you stop a black criminal? This is what we're looking at in the United States of America. To me, this case has only become more clear as I've examined it further, and I would hope there's still enough gusto in the New York jury pool for them to find Daniel Penny not guilty on these charges. But unfortunately, this is kind of a strike back against Bernie Goetz from the 80s, who was also defending himself against multiple black criminals, and the fact that the left has recontextualized that as racism later on and wants to put a white person down in order to avenge those criminals that ultimately ended up getting shot by Bernie Goetz. That's my opinion. That's what I think about this, but I want to know what you guys think about this case down in the comments below. As usual, if you like this video, show them by leaving a like, subscribe for more content, follow me on my social medias, support me via the support links in the description of this video. This has been me talking about the Penny updates and the total railroading of this man. Till next time.